We're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the EON Reality Digital Forum. So today we have our president, Mats Johansson, with us. We'll give a little introduction and followed by a video from Dan. So unfortunately, he was not able to make it, but I'll now hand it to Mats to do the honors.
Thank you, Richie. Great pleasure to meet everyone virtually. As Richie mentioned, I'm president. I'm also co-founder of EON. So I must say that the last year or so has probably been the most exciting of my 20-plus year career in XR. Having worked with this for quite a while, we see the metaverse, and specifically for us, the knowledge metaverse and XR growth are really accelerating. And we know that the pandemic has highlighted the need for better online learning. And as you know, we're big believers in collaborative XR, especially with launching our spatial meeting solution recently that you'll see and hear more about. And we also know there are lots of examples and studies out there that it's been proven over many years that XR will outperform classroom learning by many factors. So as we look even post-pandemic, we're super excited to see all of our users, especially over the last couple of years, on the EON-XR platform and the creative applications that they develop. And with that little introduction, we will now hear from our chairman, Mr. Dan Leierskar, talk a little bit about the future of XR and EON as well. And then we'll discuss also a little bit the pedagogical approach that's spearheaded by our Director of Customer Success, Dr. Rina Walsinger. So with that, Richie, please take it away.
Yes, good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about the EON Global Knowledge Metaverse update for 2022. The new products, new programs, and how you can benefit from them. First of all, EON is a leader in the knowledge metaverse. VR and AR alone is expected to boost global GDP by 1.5 trillion. And the metaverse itself supposedly is going to be an $8 trillion industry. Now, if you look at EON, what are we doing? What's our contribution to this growth? Our focus is in knowledge. So the knowledge metaverse. We have 3 products for that. We added last year 2 products, Merged XR and Spatial Meetings, that I will describe in more details today. We have expanded the access to 3D asset to 5.1 million assets, free and premium. We have over the years accumulated 42 million XR viewers and sold recently 1.4 million licenses of the new platform. We're also introducing now something called Share and Earn, where creators can share their experience on the EON marketplace and can earn money. We also have a number of programs around the knowledge metaverse, connecting academia, government, enterprise, institution all over the world. And now we have very pleased to announce that there are more than 100 countries involved in large-scale rollouts. So let's look a little bit into the details. First of all, most of you know the fact that according to PwC, students learn faster, 4 times faster, they are more confident, they are more emotionally connected and focused with VR and AR. So if that's the case, how come not every single academic institution has these technology today? It's not that easy. Historically, there were a number of problems. First of all, it was difficult to create and use XR for normal users. Game engine required coding. There was a lack of educational XR content. And the pandemic effect created a number of problems, as we're all aware of, dropping grades, enrollment, even mental health crises that have appeared. So EON has set itself with our platforms to address these issues. And you are all familiar with the no-code creation tools. I'm not going to focus so much on that today, which provides you the ability, as you can see here today, to have access to many library items, to have a code-free environment that anybody can use to create VR, AR, XR, and mobile. So what's new? there are two new components. One of them we call Merged XR, which is a technology that enables anyone to create digital twins by simply scanning an environment. And then in seconds, use artificial intelligence to inject knowledge in this environment. And finally, be able to superimpose in the reality various type of knowledge elements, or what we call knowledge portals. Last but not least, you can teleport yourself with a third product we call Spatial Meetings to another locations and, with voice interact, engage in a laboratory environment or any type of experiment as if you would do in real life. So those are the three components that enable you to have an open cross-platform environment, to expand your physical world, not retreat from it, and to connect with people in a positive way. So what can you do this? Obviously, you can learn, you can train, you can perform, and you can collaborate. And I will show in a second how we can do that. Now, this is applicable for many aspects, for K-12, for TVET, for higher education. And I will show you a video how we can do this practically 2022 by using the new EON Merged XR, where we see the creation is going twice as fast, does not require any need for training, where you also have access to more than 5 million assets, and you have this new share and earn marketplace. So let's look at the video that I just recorded recently around this. If I can do it, anyone can. Let's have a look. Today we're going to talk about the new Merged XR experience. We'll start with a user experience for 2022. What you're going to see is something quite amazing, that you can hold your mouse over the experiences and you will see a 3-sec preview, and you will see the same if you do it on the phone by lightly touching the screen. And this brings a lot more life because you don't have to actually go inside the experience. You'll be able to see that automatically. But we'll focus more on the experience creation. You'll start straight in AR, which is very liberating. You can tap to place the knowledge portal. You can just speak, let's say aircraft engine. Automatically the system tracks the aircraft engine. You can also put your text here. So you can type engine and you will find that generates the automatically 6 knowledge portals. Let's look at that. It's all tightly, compactly packed. So we have 6 packages there: the 3D asset, the text, the images, the videos that you can that have been selected, and you can select the one you like. Finally, the PDF, and not at least the audio part. And let's look a little bit more in detail. So let's start with the 3D asset first. So here you are, you can see that I had a number of assets. I selected the aircraft engine. I can also import my assets. Text-wise, I can either use the text that was suggested or my own. Images, likewise, and also videos. I can select what was automatically, or I can type in my own HTTPS YouTube link. With respect to the videos, you will then see how well they work and go to the PDF part. On the PDF side, here you see I can select whatever I want from my phone. Once I have them, I can view the PDF, and after the PDF, we have also audio.
This lesson is about the aircraft engine and how it functions.
Okay, now let's go to the feature, AR feature buttons. We have 7 of those, and you can see them there. You can add more assets. For example, instead of 1, you can have multiple assets, and you can rotate, place them where you want. You can see object 2, object 3, and you can create a whole environment. You can have speech to text if you want to add more information than what was provided previously. You also have AI image. With this image, the system actually identifies and names what you're looking at if you don't know the name, which is wonderful. You have the 3D recording, walk and talk. So the ability to walk around, record that, and then have an avatar representing, explaining, speaking, interacting, grabbing in order to do a standard operation procedure. Very useful feature. Language. Now we expose the language up front, and let's have a look. So I'm using just this to type voice.
This is a demonstration of our text-to-speech and multiple language capabilities.
I'm selecting Spanish as a language, for example, of 42 languages.
Esta es una demostración de nuestras capacidades de texto a voz en muchos idiomas.
Okay, so that was that. Now let's go to something else, screen recording. So I can actually record my screen live, and then I can share it on social media. This is very nifty. Assessment. We have 4 assessment portals. So it's a tightly packed 4 portals. We have quiz, we have identify, we have locate, we have 3D assessment, all in one. Let's look a little bit closer. So quiz, you can have different alternatives. Identify specifically the item. Locate, so for example, an object. And 3D assessment, it's a simulator how well you perform, in essence. Now, let's see. We want to share and earn on the marketplace. So do you want to share your experience? Yes or no? If you say yes, now you have the ability to set the price, and it will be exposed on your marketplace where you can have lessons, learn, and you make money. So finally, then you exit your lesson. Now, when you click exit, one of the things that's going to come is up next. So this is 9 videos selected based on your personality, by topic, by region, or by your favorite creator. So you'll be able to see all these and actually be inspired of experiencing the next XR solution. Now, if you don't do anything, the system will autoplay for you the next experience that the system believes is most suitable for you. So this way you can be intrigued and learn constantly, all the time, every time, anywhere. And you can also see that in the context of your environment. So on that note, thank you so much. And yeah, keep looking and seeing what next features holds in 2022. Thank you. Yes, so if you want to have a more in-depth demo, we can do a deep dive for you. Just reach out to us. There are many things that we can touch. Time doesn't allow, from the smooth lesson interface that we have improved, to the detailed admin pages, to the marketplace that now allows you to sell your own experience, and also the Oculus extension to the App Lab, as well as the unparalleled visual quality. All that with nice lesson playlists, the Oculus Quest and other integrations with headsets like Magic Leap and so on. The ability to import 3D assets with a dashboard, and of course support for Mac. Now, who's using this and what has happened on our global rollout? Let me just take you on a quick tour around the world. Fasten your seatbelts because this is going to go really fast. But in summary, EON has been supporting a number of partners for post-pandemic resilient recovery in education, enterprise, and communities. And as such, we have more than 100 countries that have joined the Knowledge Portal, Knowledge Metaverse program, also Knowledge Portal in itself. And large of that amount of that is fueled by an enormous amount of effort that's been put by enterprises, by governments and academic institutions to achieve a resilient post-pandemic recovery. And EON partners, as you know, with organizations like IDB, USAID, and many others. Now, as a result of that, last year we had an 819% increase in users. And soon, all places on the map, from places like Honduras all the way to Papua New Guinea, are become power user of our platform to enable students to learn faster, retain information longer, and ultimately make better decisions. I am myself joining some of these locations, a subset, together with my colleagues. We also have a number of advisors. The latest advisor is Rosen Plevniev, that has helped us with, is the 4th president of Bulgaria, joining our team. This is my travel, visiting some of our partners that really go across the world, as you can see here. So example of, if you want to learn more about how they use it, there is a very detailed testimonial like this one here.
And it is life-changing.
So that was not very loud, but I will come back to this. And if you want to listen to this, go to our YouTube channel and you'll find literally hundreds of testimonials. So let's start with North and South America. We started there with colleges such as LACC, and they have now extended their program, or New Mexico State University, or Community College Gulf Coast, in Mississippi, or places like Baker College. And in all these cases, we have...
When we first started talking about using extended reality, and someone asked me the question, so which program do you think could use this? And my answer was, what program couldn't? Right?
So there is extensive videos on my presentations. If you want to get the full presentation, just reach out to me and you'll get it. In the interest of your time now, I will not go through all of these. You can see the flags and you can read more carefully about it in the PDF version. But nevertheless, there is tons of academic institutions in not only US, but North America that are using our technology at the moment. We engage, for example, in a new exciting activity with Mexico, which we hope to launch with 57,000 students. We have successfully integrated this in Jamaica and West Indies. Earlier, we have been working, of course, with Sinai, which is now in process of expanding. We work in Central America with Panama, Dominican Republic. We've explored many different locations. We are have strong presence in Honduras. With respect to Europe, we started in places like London with University of East London, Glasgow, Switzerland. We are now engaged in a discussion, in an engagement with Technical Hochschule in Deggendorf, many places, Italy, Genoa. We have Spain as early engagement. Burgas, center in Bulgaria, now is expanding nationally, and many, many more. I will not go through all the details in the interest of your time. But it's not limited to Europe or North or South America. We have also expanded in Asia, and there, of course, Singapore, where we have a headquarter, and this is applicable in the transportation, aerospace, but also very much so with most academic institutions. India, we're doing a huge rollout there for 40,000 students. Thailand, we just inaugurated with the Deputy Minister of Education, a big center that will expand hopefully to national rollout. We also have China with multiple locations and centers, Japan, Malaysia, Vietnam, even Cambodia now we have started an engagement with, and of course Indonesia, that's a very large country. And as I mentioned earlier, Papua New Guinea. And of course, Africa is a continent, we care a lot about. We started last year, a year and a half ago actually, in Morocco, that is expanding a lot over the 2 years with locations like Honoris United Universities, Hassan II, multiple projects, South Africa with Vaal University of Technology, Central University of Technology, and now we are engaged with the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology to do a national rollout. Egypt, where we have established a center with Nile University, Ghana with same with Central University of Ghana, likewise in Nigeria with multiple locations, Palestine, even places now like Zimbabwe and Ethiopia, where we have signed agreements, and not long ago with Rwanda, places like Senegal, Liberia. Finally, with respect to Middle East, we have a long-standing relation in Kuwait, Zina Technology and the government, NTech, in Amman, Arab University, for example, Jordan, also in Israel with Academic College of Tel Aviv. So why is EON launching these programs? What ways do we want to achieve? So we believe fundamentally that knowledge is a human right. We want to build the knowledge metaverse, realizing that there's many other people that need to be involved in this. We want to stimulate job creation and also work with partners to enhance further our research and development. Now, what are the benefits for these partners? I could summarize them simply put in 4. 1, this really transforms education. So as I mentioned earlier, it's proven that students learn faster, retain information longer, and make better decisions. But more important, during the pandemic and a post-pandemic era, we have seen that students that use this technology increase enrollment, retention, satisfaction, and engagement. We also see that this builds IP and digital assets, and interesting, as you could see earlier, ability for academic institution governments to monetize these assets and the knowledge metaverse. Okay, so of course, EON has traditional academic customers in many fields, and also enterprise customers that see the benefit of reducing the training cost. Customers historically such as Exxon or Boeing or Shell or Siemens also have seen increase in productivity by using this technology. Now, concretely, what are the EON-XR Center Grant Program's deliverables? So you get the infrastructure, you get Amazon Web Service unlimited support and unlimited time. You get the access to the XR platforms, the 3 platforms I described. You get access to additional hardware and the know-how resources to make it happen. Now, how is this type of rollouts? How are they implemented? Very simple. We go through a partnership discussion, understand the needs, go over the implementation program. If need, we also have something called the Metaverse Academy to further enhance the community and the knowledge, and we work together to expand the program. Concrete example here comes from one European university that in the span of 2 months, we're able to create more than 50,000 assets and XR experiences, of which the top 10 were used and implemented as a part of the academic program. If you want more information about the programs, please contact us. We look forward to work with you and engage in this very exciting knowledge metaverse future. Thank you so much.
So, well, I hope you enjoyed that presentation. So unfortunately, we are facing some technical difficulties. Technical difficulties with Rina. But Mats will be stepping in to do the presentation. So over to you, Mats.
Yeah, thank you, Rina. Thank you, Richie. Besides being the president of the overall company, I also run our global customer success team. And that team, some of you might have met some of the team members there. One part is, of course, supporting the implementation, doing technical training on the platform, deep dives if you want to learn more, as Dan also mentioned. But another part is the pedagogical implementation. A lot of our customers are in the education space, higher education space, and do regional or national rollouts. And one very important part there is the pedagogical support. So I thought I'd spend a few minutes to go through that a little bit and share with you. So let me share my screen here. Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen now, Richie.
Yep, I can see your screen.
Perfect, thank you. So I won't focus on the technical aspects on the platform here, but rather how we approach the pedagogical side. And Rina Waltzinger is our Director of Customer Success that looks after that with her team. And if you have interest or questions, we're more than happy to set up a separate discussion with her. But basically, the philosophy that we employ, and there are many good quotes out here for this, but I know this is one that Rena loves. The most effective education is experiential. Learning is achieved through personal experience and doing, or learn by doing. And we're big believers in that. And there's also many studies out there. I think Dan referenced one by PwC that looked at classroom learning using VR and XR and how it can outperform the classroom many times, create a better attention and better results overall. When we engage with a new customer, we do this pedagogical session, and typically we do it after the EON-XR training. So when you go into this, you know a bit about the platform. But we do this to look specifically at the curriculum from our client, and we do that through a needs assessment, a form that we employ, and then we do a 1-hour meeting. And this is targeted towards faculty, curriculum leads, people that influence the curriculum with the customer. And we do something called a curriculum crosswalk, and I'll show you an example here in a little bit, but basically looking at where in your curriculum or the client's curriculum will you get the biggest impact with using XR. We go through learning objectives, assignment and lesson examples. We provide guides, both for faculty and students when it comes to this. And we discuss the programs and make sure that we have a smooth implementation with learning management systems and deployment, etc. Then we do a second meeting when we've laid the foundation. So this is roughly 1 to 2 hours. Quick review of the first meeting, and then we collect some program-specific experiences. We go through AR experience, and then we typically focus on technical programs on one side. They're typically pretty straightforward. The early adopters in XR were the technical programs, but that's really changed. And today we also deploy a lot of our platform in non-technical programs like psychology or liberal arts, history, language, etc. So there is a little bit different approach there, how you think about it and how you work with the faculty, but there's a ton of good examples there. We do a review of existing environments and assets and make sure that we identify any gaps. Luckily, if you look at the situation today, we just released our 9.4 release, and with that you have a very nice integration to Sketchfab, which gives you access to an additional 750,000 assets on top of everything else that's already there. So it's easy today to either scan or use repositories or 360, etc., to have assets to build from. Then we look at assignment construction and collaboration. That's very important, how you deploy it, whether you use Spatial meeting or EON-XR as you implement the collaboration component. And then the outcome of this is a plan for ongoing programs, and there may be specific sessions that we set up and kind of work through on follow-ups. So this is an example of a curriculum crosswalk, and this, of course, can be a wide variety of different programs. I know it's a little bit small here, but it's a real live example. So here you have 3 courses. One is in manufacturing, welding. One is in healthcare, nursing. And what we do is that we add this gap analysis where we look at, what are the low-hanging fruits in terms of topics using XR. So here they've identified hand tools, pliers, torches, clamps, etc. If you look at healthcare, they were interested in nutrition, electrolytes, etc. And the outcome of this is potential lessons. Okay, And there's two components of how you can use EON-XR, and maybe the most important is self-directed learning, where the students actually engage and develop. It's the old saying of, if you really want to learn something, you teach it, or the flipped classroom. So that's something we also focus on here, besides lessons developed by faculty, of course, as well. We also provide, as I mentioned on the summary, guides for faculty and students, and these are provided directly within the learning management system. So for instance, if you use Canvas, a lot of our US clients at least use that, you will have these templates or guides that you can access directly from within the LMS. So the student or the faculty never have to go outside that to access EON-XR and the platform and the lessons, but also these guides. And the approach is around kind of introducing the topic, learning, training, and performing. Those are kind of the three cornerstones of EON. And then collaborate, where you do this in a group or a class or a lab type situation virtually. And if we look at the curriculum implementation, the needs assessment, as I mentioned, the focus there is around, the specific programs, licenses to deploy them, teaching approaches, culture within the institution, other technology. We also focus a lot on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have made big strides when it comes to accessibility, for instance. LMS is typically an important component here as well, so we make it as easy as possible for everyone to access everything they need to access through a familiar environment. There might be specific pedagogy challenges or devices that the customer wants to use. And sometimes we have a makerspace or a center that this kind of builds from, so we take that into account as well. When we look at creating the learning experience, it's really important to look at the culture, the workforce, technology, and the goal is to have a campus-wide implementation. And we do that through a structured planning guide for active learning, project incorporation using the EON-XR platform, and of course today also merged XR and Spatial meetings. We work with faculty training and certification, of course, and there's a separate sessions around this. Look at outcomes, design brief, content challenges, assessment, presentation, and institutional sustainability. The curriculum crosswalk, I kind of showed an example there, but we look, of course, at the specific programs and courses that the institution has. There's a lot of carryover between colleges, but there's also some specific programs that we want to make sure that we target. We also, as part of the curriculum crosswalk, look at XR integration, spatial meetings, environments, as I mentioned, 3D assessment, which has become much easier today. And with the new 9.4, you can now do a full 3D assessment, even with a scan model, where you have one asset, so to speak, which is really nice. If we look at the design brief for faculty and teachers, it's broken down in terms of project creation, course and program learning outcomes, lesson planning template and criteria. And as I mentioned, this is all available through the LMS, make it easy. And then we have a lot of sample assignments, student self-directed learning that you can take advantage of out of the box, so to speak. And in terms of the student guide, initial projects, it's centered on planning, research, build, share, and evaluate. And then besides this, so once we've finalized these sessions, so 1 hour plus an hour and a half typically, We have ongoing support and touch points with both faculty and students. As you know, we have a series of webinars and podcasts, and you can actually go in and look in our repository and look at historical ones. And then we have typically one big webinar per month that's focused on a specific technical area, and at least one every quarter around pedagogy as well. And we, of course, provide continued documentation support in terms of questions, training, support, etc. So that's a little overview of kind of the pedagogical approach in a nutshell. It was very condensed here. And as we mentioned, we're happy to set up a follow-up session if there are any more in-depth questions that we can answer. So I think with that, I'll hand back to Richie. I don't think we can hear you, Richie.
Okay, this is always the problem with Zoom meetings. But yeah, so I'm glad. Thank you, Mats, for stepping in. And I hope everyone had the chance to digest all that information. It's probably a lot of info. But if there are any burning questions that you would like to ask, please feel free to put them in the chat box. Otherwise, a replay of this webinar will be made available as well. So I'm going to give it perhaps a few minutes if anyone has any questions, and we've got Mats here to answer them as well. So in any case, thank you guys. Okay. So there was actually one question about whether Albanian language was included. So from my understanding, at least, we are completing an integration process. Albanian is in the pipeline, but there are also, what we're looking at is the 49 additional languages that will be included on the EON-XR platform for the text-to-speech feature. So I hope that answers that question. Yeah. Perhaps, Mats, do you have some FAQs that you commonly receive from people, and that might be that you might like to share? Because sometimes the questions are quite similar.
Yeah, I mean, there's a wide variety of questions, but one that we often get is what type of devices or equipment do I need to take advantage of the EON-XR platform overall? And the answer today is that we've chosen to go with a very agnostic approach. We're not beholden to any specific device or platform. I'd say the vast majority of our users and students and faculty use our platform on either a mobile device like a phone or a tablet, or a computer or a PC. And then, of course, beyond that, and of course, that has to do with ease of deployment. As you saw in Dan's presentation, you can do a lot of good augmented reality, even virtual reality with Humido glasses on a mobile device. So it's just an easy way to reach out a lot of users. And then, of course, beyond that, we support also different virtual reality headsets, augmented reality headsets, if you have those. But typically, when you look at scale, you are focused on the mobile devices. So that's maybe something to clarify. And then the other part is that this whole platform is built to be a self-service platform, which means that you're in total control of how you create ultimately your lessons or experiences, whether faculty or students do it. You can definitely take advantage of our expanding library with ready-to-use lessons and experiences, and that's growing quite a bit, as I mentioned. But one of the beauties with this is you can adapt it to almost any type of curriculum or program. And we have examples of customers that have implemented this in 20 some different programs within the university. So maybe that's good to highlight.
Okay. Well, I think it kicked off basics, got the ball rolling with some questions. So we have some from Fortunato. Do you provide trial opportunities for your products?
Trial opportunities. Yes, we do. You can go directly to our website, EONReality.com, and you do a quick registration with your name and email, and you get access to the full feature of the platform. And you can create 5 lessons or experiences under this free modality and really kick the tires, so to speak. So that's very easy to do. If you do it through your mobile device, you can download the EON-XR app and join as a guest, and also try it out that way. So it's very easy to kick the tires. I would recommend that you, before you do this, you can go to our YouTube channel, and there is some little introduction videos that shows you kind of the workflow a little bit. That might help speed up the process, but absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And then a question from Elitsa. Is there scenarios, I assume that's case studies, with EON-XR for schools?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of case studies and testimonials available also from our website, and maybe we can put a link in the chat window here to make it really simple, Richie.
Okay.
But you'll be able to see, clients that have been using this for multiple years. For instance, one that Dan mentioned in his presentation is LACC, Los Angeles City College, close to our headquarters in California, where I normally am. I'm in Europe this week. But they've been using the platform for a couple of years, just upgraded to Merge XR, Spatial meetings, and you can hear, directly from the president there how they work with us within our programs at scale. But there are many more from all around the world, depending on where you're dialing in from. So absolutely.
Okay, and I've also shared the link in the chat box in case you want to check out the different use cases.
Perfect.
So I've got a pretty advanced question. How do we translate pedagogy materials to more advanced cognitive learning? So that really is a question for a director of customer success. But essentially, I would say, the framework that we have built that Mats has just shared aims to translate that into more effective learning. But Mats, perhaps you want to add some more to what I've just said?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not a pedagogy expert, but we have a team that have been teaching for 25 plus years that had this up, either in college or university level. So they really have that teacher experience, and they can put themselves into the teacher's situation, so to speak. And there's multiple components there, but one thing that's proven to be very valuable is this curriculum crosswalk that we've developed, where we basically collect information. Our customer success team would do this from our faculty that are engaged in the rollout. And then we work collaboratively to identify the best programs and applications, because it might not be obvious immediately if you're new to this. So that's where we work very closely and collaborative to kind of provide that support and guidance as you start to implement and think about how your curriculum can benefit from this in the best way. And it's a very important part. The mechanics of any technology or program are pretty easy to learn. But if you overlook this part, it becomes much harder. So we invest a lot of time, especially with our partners there, and work together in collaborative sessions to get the most out of this. And there are some good prior webinars that we've done that maybe we can share some links for as well, Richie.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
In that area.
So yeah, I will share that in that email later to all the participants. So a final question for Dennis. Do you create a metaverse instance for each institution? I suppose that also kind of relates to what we're doing with spatial meetings. So perhaps, yeah, you could add a little bit. We're starting, but
yeah, no, absolutely. It's a good question, and it's something that's discussed a lot today. So we've really been working in the metaverse as EON for quite some time, and the whole platform is developed to be kind of that entryway into what we like to call the knowledge metaverse. Sometimes you think about this in different ways, but metaverse is a pretty broad definition. But with the addition of spatial meetings, where you can meet with an avatar spatial environment around an object or an environment, lesson or experience that you've developed, that becomes kind of the natural instance, if you want to say so, to the metaverse. The beauty with the EON platform is that if you have an Oculus headset, for instance, you can certainly participate in that way, which gives you a little bit higher level of immersion. But when you have maybe thousands of students, they will not all have a device like this, and you can still use your mobile device to participate. You don't have to have that the high end, and it's still a metaverse avatar-based experience. So you don't have to develop something specifically to this. It's actually when you start a lesson or experience from our platform, you can select to consume it in a couple of different ways. You can consume it as an individual user. You can consume it in a meeting, like a Zoom on steroids, if you want to use that, or you can consume it via spatial meeting. And that way, everyone participates in this more immersive metaverse-like environment as avatars. So you don't have to, think about creating something separate. It's just a choice on how you consume it once you develop the asset. So hopefully that answers your question. It was a long-winded answer, but
yeah, I mean, I think it leads also to the question Fortunato was asking. So can the spatial meeting product be used as a classroom or auditorium? I mean, that's really the idea, isn't it, behind that, as an online classroom and auditorium? So yes, it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Or it could be a lab also. Maybe you can't go to the physical lab, and it may be a little bit smaller group, but that's a great use case as well.
Yeah. So one question from Iniola: how many users can learn on the EON-XR platform at once? So they're quite. I mean, I suppose when you say at once, being in a classroom together, how many users can we support?
Yeah, so there's two ways to think about it. Of course, the platform itself, you can have as many simultaneous users as you want, maybe consuming different lessons or topics, so there is no limitation there. If you look at the kind of spatial meeting or meeting type applications, there is no technical limitation really. You can be as many as you want, but typically we see this going from, either a small group up to a class size environment. If you have more people, sometimes it can get a little bit confusing, but that's a typical that we see. But there's really no technical limitation how many you want to participate.
Okay, so I think that's it for the questions we have today. So thank you so much, Mats. If there are any other questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at marketing@eonreality.com. We'll be able to answer them. In any case, thank you everyone for your time and for joining the webinar. And thank you again, Mats, for speaking.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It was a pleasure to meet everyone, and best of luck. Take care.
All right, everyone, bye.